We're going to have some industry lightning talks, which are going to be a really great opportunity in these short bites to get some insights on things that leaders within the industry are already working on doing, change that is already happening, a snapshot of something we talked about here, how we're putting words into action, what's actually happening. So can I please call to the stage Steve Campbell, Andrea Chapman, Marianne Dravniks, Dr. Jackie Hendricks and Jackie Woods. Can you join me in applauding all of them as they join me up on stage? Thank you so much. Grab a seat. Just you can move the microphone out of the way if you like. So I'm going to introduce each one by one. They're going to come and take the stage. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock and they're going to share with you a little bit about the change that they're driving, what's working. So real practical insights for each and every one of you from the conversation here. So first up, Steve Campbell from BHP. Steve has had more than 25 years experience as a leader in the mining industry and he's a long-time advocate for opportunities for women in the sector. He's still leading the way as General Manager of South Flank, which is BHP's newest iron ore mine in the Pilbara. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Trevor for the welcome to country this morning as well and acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging as well. Well, good morning everybody. I'm Steve Campbell. I am the General Manager of South Flank, BHP's newest and largest iron ore mine in the Pilbara region of Western Australia. And by way of context, South Flank is a $3.6 billion investment in the future. And in 2021, after 3 years of construction, we delivered our first ore. We're on the fastest production ramp up in BHP's history, and we're in our final year of a 3-year ramp up to our full rate of 80 million tonnes per annum. Now, our people are our heart and soul of our business at BHP, and at South Flank we have one of the most diverse workplaces in Australia, if not the world. Of the 900 people that we've employed across our site, 15% are Indigenous and around 40% are women, across all roles including senior management, with most of our team working a family-friendly 8 and 6 roster. Now at BHP we've set a target for gender equity by 2025, and at South Flank our recruitment of a diverse workforce began very early, well before our construction, in a deliberate effort to create a safer and far more productive culture. We know that when we're building an inclusive and diverse workforce, a safe working environment is essential, one where people feel personally safe and free from bullying, harassment of any kind. So at South Flank we've done that by building a site culture that encourages everyone to be themselves, to give their best and return home safe and well each and every swing. 2 years ago we brought in the Monash University's Behaviour Works Australia team to help us understand the impact of our current controls and certainly improve on them to create a highly respectful workplace. And we started by educating our site leaders, around 100 people, about the latest thinking in our behaviour change and finding effective ways to move away from sexist language, inequality and negative sentiments towards women. Behaviours that are absolutely not accepted and not tolerated at any BHP site, known for its key risk factors, and it's also known for its key risk factors for sexual harassment and assault. Next we talk to our people, a large population. We got the views of over 700 of our workers about our current controls. The things like our village design, like security improvements and like our alcohol restrictions and so on. And some of the answers really surprised us and they certainly surprised the Monash team as well. And of those interviewed, 90% supported diversity in the workplace by gender, age, ethnicity, and 83% preferred mixed crews. Big numbers. 84% feel that South Flank is a safe place for everyone, and 86% felt a clear sense of what appropriate behaviour looks like. 83% had observed a spirit of cooperation and respect in their teams, and 75%, 3 out of 4, had gone out of their way to help someone new to South Flank, which is really great to see. And something that surprised me, but one third had challenged or corrected negative language towards a colleague, and 20%, 1 in 5, had challenged negative language about women. Now, our gender diversity results have been so remarkable that Monash published a paper in the Harvard Business Review recently, and while I might be a bit biased, it certainly makes for interesting reading, and there's a QR code on the next slide. So while our journey is far from over, the Monash team have identified 5 key drivers behind our success to date. First of all, strong leadership engagement and strict gender equity targets are absolutely critical. Strong support, number 2, strong support from head office is essential in enabling teams to try new ways of building a better sense of employee belonging. Thirdly, safety and security investments in our mining villages. And since the inquiry, we've invested heavily, more than $300 million, to create a safe and welcoming home away from home for our thousands of employees across the Pilbara. Number 4, our use of science-based, data-driven methods to reduce and eliminate exclusionary and harmful behaviours, especially sexist language, certainly bullying. And number 5, finally, it actually takes hard work. Monash has found that achieving gender equity and a more inclusive and diverse workplace is a process, one of learning, constant change, and driven by leadership. It will take time, it certainly will take effort, but ultimately it will pay off in spades, creating a safer, happier, and more productive workplace. So we're not taking our eye off the prize when it comes to creating an inclusive, diverse, and respectful culture. As I said earlier, our people are the heart and soul of our business and fundamental to our success. And above all, we want a workplace where people want to come to work, where they feel enabled, developed, where they feel fulfilled through exciting and meaningful work, a place where they feel like they belong. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Steve. And congratulations on everything you're doing at Southflank. There's some remarkable points of data and really interesting. The power that strikes me of just having ambitious company targets to begin with, and the way that it challenges thinking from the get-go to have to be different stands out quite clearly. But a great paper to read for those of you who are looking for further resources. Up next, continuing my alphabetical order, I'd like to introduce Andrea Chapman. Andrea has more than a decade of experience in senior leadership in the mining and resources industry. She joined Mineral Resources in 2022 and was this year promoted to Executive General Manager of People. So welcome, Andrea.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Like Holly's already said, my name is Andrea Chapman and I am the Executive General Manager for People at MinRes. So for those who don't know much about Mineral Resources, or MinRes for short, we are a WA-owned business, owned and operated, and we had our 30th birthday last year. We are by heart, a mining contractor business, and for the most of that 30 years, that is the kind of work that we have done. It's only been recently that we've actually engaged in owning and operating our own mine sites. And so we have lithium and iron ore sites across pretty much all of WA. From a people and culture perspective at MinRes, what can I say? We have come a bloody long way, but we absolutely know we have a hell of a long way to go too. Following the parliamentary inquiry, it was really an opportunity for us to reflect as an organisation. We wanted to really understand our people's experience and what happened, so we set about an agenda. We did all of the things that probably everybody in this room has done. We did the physical audits, are our villages safe? We did the CCTV. We spoke to our people, and this was probably the most important part, really speaking to our people and understanding their concerns. A lot of the things they told us related back to villages and the experience at village due to poor policy or just poor village design. And what I mean by that is often in a village or a camp where people work FIFO, the wet mess, for example, is the only desirable location to spend time and socialise. Often when you design a camp, you put the wet mess at the very peak so it has the most beautiful view. A lot of investment is not made in other places. The best thing that we did from those conversations is we took their feedback and have embedded that into our village strategy. And that is probably something that we are absolutely most proud of. So when it comes to our villages, we have constructed what we are calling now our resort-style accommodation. It's resort because we want it to make and feel like a resort. After a hard day's work, we want people to return back to that village, which we call a resort now. We want them to feel calm, we want them to feel relaxed, and we want them to feel like they have a safe place returning back from work. These facilities will see rooms 3 times the size of a standard donga. They have queen beds in them, so there's no such thing now as couples rooms and singles rooms. We really hope to attract more couples and more women so that everybody has a bigger space. I've worked in FIFO for a significant part of my career, and often as a woman, one of the things that you don't often want to do is do things like laundry at a public place where you're having to share and put your delicates in and share it with other people. So these villages and resort-style rooms will have their own washer drying facilities within them. It's all about community. It is all about a sense of belonging. The wet mess will not be the only place to socialise. It really is about creating an environment of community, cafe-style facilities and resort-style amenities. The prototype of this resort has come from our head office. And some of you may have seen that video that we put out last year when we moved it in June with Julie Bishop. And yes, we absolutely understand that that video is a little contentious and very polarising. However, the point of that was really to make people understand that this is a new way of work for MinRes, where workplace wellness is at the absolute forefront of everything we do. You literally see it, you feel it, you smell it. We put literally calming perfume through the air conditioner so that when you come into that office, you feel this great sense of calm. There is no way that at MinRes we are saying the look, the feel and the aesthetics is what drives culture. It does not. It is not the heart of an organisation, but it absolutely does help. What we have done, though, to really demonstrate to our people that inclusivity is really important to us, and something that I am so proud of, is the hashtag #IamMinRes campaign. This is a campaign that absolutely pays respect to our people that work for us and recognises they are so much more than the job title that they have at work, that all of us bring our own story. My story was that, and for those who in the room know me, I am an absolute dog lover. My peers had absolutely fantastic stories about being heroes and saving the world, but for me, I'm a dog lover. And so we asked people to share their story, what they're passionate about, and we made little videos, and we've got this beautiful artwork, and this is the artwork that sits across all of our facilities. And so on that note, what I will say is I am Andrea Chapman. I am Executive General Manager People. I am a dog lover, and I am MinRes. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Andrea. Some really great notes in there around the power of speaking directly to your people, the resort co-design, as I've now learnt, there's a new term for villages, resort, and the importance and the significance and the power of storytelling. Up next, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Marianne Drevnex to the stage, who's the Executive Manager of People and Communications at Northern Star Resources Limited, with more than 30 years' experience in the resource industry and a passion for aligning people with the business they work for. Take it away.
Thanks, Holly. Good morning, everyone. Thanks to Trevor Wally this morning for the informative welcome to country, and I'd like to add my acknowledgement and respect to the Whadjuk Noongar people and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here. I'm very pleased to be here today representing Northern Star at this important event. As you all know, in this agenda, it's a lightning talk, so I've only got a few minutes to talk about our great company. But if any of you, to Warren's point, want to beg, borrow or steal anything I talk about today, please find me in the break and come talk to me or ask me other questions about what we're talking about. So firstly, a bit about, oops, wrong way. Can we go back? No, I'll just talk to it, that's fine. Firstly, a little bit about us. Northern Star is a globally significant gold producer with assets in Australia and North America. We have over 6,000 people who work for us or with us, and over half of those people are direct employees. Northern Star was founded in the early 2000s, and after a period of significant growth, we joined the ASX 50 in 2021. We are 100% gold, and we operate at 3 major production centres. We have a mix of residential and FIFO workers, with the majority of our residential workers in Australia living and working in Kalgoorlie. I'm okay that that slide was up there while I was talking, because I really want to highlight and talk about our STAR core values. They really are the core to who we are and how we operate. Our framework of safety, teamwork, accountability, results and respect have been in place since 2013, so it's their 10-year anniversary, and they are truly at the heart and the leadership of our company. In fact, when I joined Northern Star a couple of years ago, one of the first discussions I had with our Managing Director, Stu Tonkin, was about how we could further enhance our values, in particular our respect value. Stu and all our broader executive team are strong champions for a workplace that reflects our values in all ways, and in particular how we have a respectful workplaces in all instances. Our STAR values signpost the practices, leadership and expectations at Northern Star. In the last few years, we've been really active in leveraging from our people's knowledge and connection to those values to ensure that we have an inclusive workplace where everyone feels safe and heard. This has included engaging our employees in developing a common behaviour and descriptive framework to explain the values. So it's not only been developed by our people, but it's in a language they understand and relate to. Out of that, we implemented a recognition process we called the STAR Actions process, where our employees nominate each other for living the values. In the last year, we had almost 2,400 nominations, which is getting close to 1 nomination per employee. We had nominations for all the values at all our sites, but I'm really pleased that respect and its very closely aligned teamwork were almost half the nominations, and we shout out those people in a variety of forums. We've also got tools and training for our leaders, so our leaders can be confident and effective in managing their teams, addressing behaviour and modelling respect. This year we have developed in-house a specific Leading with Respect training, which our leaders across the business will undertake. So this work that we've been undertaking to have a safe and inclusive workplace has been ongoing for many years. As a company, we use our employee onboarding and cultural survey data to inform our actions. As a part of a response in the last couple of years, we undertook a detailed reanalysis of this data using an external company with a respect lens. We then ran focus groups across the business, including our frontline workers, to fully understand what we found, and then worked with the sites to mitigate what wasn't working, but also amplify what was working, and there was a lot that was working. We've got lots of other actions in place, and I probably don't have enough time to go through all of them, but a few of the key ones are: we've got police checks for all employees and for site access by contractors, and that is an actively managed process and has been for years. We implemented in 2021 gender-neutral significant parental leave for both primary and secondary carers. This parental leave is consistent at all our locations worldwide, and I'm really pleased about the take-up of that across our business. We have a broad suite of training to support prevention and understanding. This training includes all our employees and is mandatory, and it also includes our long-term contractors. Some of this training includes the aforementioned respect training, equal employment training, sexual harassment training, which was updated to directly address and highlight the types of concerns we're here to address today. Most recently, we've been training our people to not be passive bystanders when they see disrespect, but be an upstander and stepped in. Our training teaches people to recognise the behaviour, take the responsibility, respond and report if they need to, as well as seek appropriate support. We've just updated our training for sexual harassment to be online and interactive and to specifically address the issue of consent. You can see a still from the training on the slide. All our people will be completing this mandatory training by the end of the year with a particular focus on our FIFO sites. And finally, it is sometimes difficult to see what consequences occur as they are necessarily confidential. However, when needed, there are consequences for breaches of our expectations, and whether they are employees or contractors. These can and have been serious consequences for the individuals involved. Thank you very much for your time today. I would be very happy to share the information I've talked about today if it be helpful in your own workplaces. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Marianne. Love the piece in that around having descriptive, relatable values and then the importance of making sure the incentive structure inside the organisation aligns to it. Up next, we have Dr. Jackie Hendricks, who is a Senior Lecturer and Research Fellow at Curtin University with formal qualifications in both health promotion and sexology. And she's committed to ensuring individuals are able to access appropriate education and support, specifically around respectful relationships. Go for it, Jackie.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. I'm super excited to provide you all with a bit of a brief update on the Respect in Mining program. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, the Whadjuk Noongar people. It has been my absolute privilege to spend most of my life living, working and playing on this beautiful country, and I extend that acknowledgement and respect to anyone else in the room who may be Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. As you're aware, the Mars program has got a number of initiatives currently underway, and Respect in Mining is just one. This particular strategy or initiative is being driven by the team at the WA Department of Communities. However, alongside myself and the research team at Curtin University, we've been beautifully supported by the entire sector. So we thank everyone. There'll be many people in the room who have helped us get to the stage we are at today. So from the sector, but also from the state more broadly, and particularly to all those individuals working in the primary prevention space for sexual harassment and sexual assault. At its core, the Respect in Mining program is geared up to really support the small and medium end of town. We want to make it really easy for you to beg, borrow and steal, just to nab that phrase beautifully mentioned before in the fireside chat. We want to make it really easy for all of the different workplaces to be able to access a range of materials and tools that are going to help you in your response, specifically in your response to both prevent and manage sexual harassment and sexual assault. So we've done this over a number of phases and we're partway through. So phase one, we went and did a bit of a scoping review of all the current activities, all the different tools and resources that are currently available. And then we set up to design our own suite of tools that were better suited for the mining sector. I'm pleased to announce that in the coming month, all of these tools will be readily available for you to access on the website. So again, you can beg, borrow and steal to your heart's content. And then our future plans are to really pilot these materials in an actual mining context later on, early on next year. So just to give a quick review of all the background that went into the development of these tools, our team at Curtin was engaged to conduct a desktop audit. There's lots of different materials and resources out there to help the general everyday workplace address issues of sexual assault and sexual harassment, but not many have been tailor-made for the mining context. So we just really wanted to capture what was out there and to collate them all. And we were able to secure over 116 documents. Most of these are freely and accessibly available. Most of them were Australian resources, but not many were mining focused. So it gave us a really nice picture of what was currently out there. And then in the second stage, we actually engaged in a whole range of interviews to get feedback from people working in the sector, but also people working in the primary prevention space about what they think needed to happen to make these tools more readily available for the mining context in Western Australia. And again, thank you very much to those stakeholders for their input. We've come up with a really comprehensive list and we're very proud of these materials because not only do they focus on the prevention of sexual harassment and sexual assault, but they are also very much focused on how to appropriately manage these incidences. They are the broad spectrum of behaviours, so sexual harassment through to sexual assault, inappropriate, unwanted and illegal behaviours. And in particular, what we're most proud of is that we are really working to support every staff member or employee out there. So it is also not only the person who experiences harm, it is also there to support the person who causes harm, and it is also there to support all of the witnesses and bystanders or the professionals who might be responsible for the case management. And as you can see, there's a diverse range of tools and materials that you'll soon be able to access. They're basically templates and checklists. So each organisation is welcome to download these, have a look at the implementation guide first of all, but they are just simply templates for you to work with and adapt to your individual context. We do want to recognise that workforce training is a really core component, and unfortunately due to the time constraints we were not able in the 6 months that we had to actually develop training materials. We do recognise that there are a broad range of external agencies out there at the current time that workplaces will choose to engage with when trying to educate their workforce about sexual harassment and sexual assault. And we appreciate that training's got to happen at the induction level as part of the onboarding process, and then perhaps we need specialised training for people in the corporate offices as opposed to different training for people who work on site. So we are looking to pull together a range of quality assurance parameters that the sector might want to refer to so that you can ensure that you are engaging with trainers who can provide high quality, evidence-based and really practical workforce training for your employees. So please keep an eye out for that coming in the future. Just to highlight what our next steps are going to be, as I said, later on this month you will be able to go to the Respect in Mining website and download all of those tools. We really value your feedback on them. They are certainly not going to be a series of set and forget materials. They're very much open to adaptation as we move forward and get more feedback on them. The Department of Communities will be tendering later on this year. They will be appointing a range of subject matter experts in sexual harassment and assault, primary prevention staff, experts in psychosocial hazards, monitoring and evaluation, and they will be working with Goldfields Australia, who have very kindly agreed to undertake a pilot of these materials in quite a formal way starting at the beginning of next year. So we're very grateful to Goldfields for putting their hands up, and we're really looking forward to working with them to really further evaluate these materials. And as always, this program, like all of the other initiatives under Mars, will be thoroughly evaluated in a few different ways as well. I know the team has got a booth outside in the promotional quarter, and we'd be very happy to have a chat with anyone who might be interested in all of these tools that we've developed. Thanks.
Thank you, Jackie. What a fabulous library of resources that's going to become available in the next month. Fantastic, and a great opportunity to go and have a conversation at the morning tea break in a moment. Bringing us home, Jackie Woods is a National Communications and Policy Director at the Mining and Energy Union. She leads a small team responsible for media campaigns and advocacy for their interests of their members. Take it away, Jackie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here today. And I'm going to talk to you about our experience rolling out sexual harassment training to workers in the Pilbara. Just a little bit about us, the Mining and Energy Union. Our coverage is predominantly in coal. But we have a partnership with the Australian Workers Union covering iron ore production workers in the Pilbara, and that's called the Western Mine Workers Alliance. So at the time of the WA parliamentary inquiry into sexual harassment, we participated in that inquiry, and we surveyed our members and workers in the industry to make sure that their voices were heard. It found sort of shocking rates of sexual harassment, and a lot of that's been covered, of course. And I just wanted to acknowledge Professor Parker's fantastic presentation, and that survey, I guess, reinforced a lot of what we had found talking to our members. But our research also found a really sort of significant lack of trust in employer processes to deal with sexual harassment, which I think goes to point that Owen raised about, a gap between the conversations that happen at the corporate level to the lived experience of the men and women, driving the big trucks and operating the machinery on the ground. From our research, about half of the women we surveyed didn't believe that workers were truly encouraged to report incidents of sexual harassment, and most didn't think that they would be supported if they did report sexual harassment. One of our members who gave very distressing evidence at the inquiry about her experience only did that because she had already decided to leave the industry. So in response to all of this, we considered, what we could do as a union to participate to positive change. So our idea was to back up the efforts of government and employers with a worker-focused training program that could be rolled out across the workforce to provide a safe space for workers. We identified Full Stop Australia as a suitable partner based on their extensive experience, and they developed a package along with us called Respectful Workplaces, Preventing Sexual Harassment Through Ethical Bystander Intervention, which we delivered to members in Perth, Newman and Tom Price earlier this year. We approached it as a pilot project and thanked the Mars program for covering the costs of Full Stop delivering that project for those 3 sessions. So I just wanted to give, some of my thoughts after sitting through those sessions about, their value. And probably the first one was that, there's a group of people who just haven't got the memo about what sexual harassment really is and what appropriate behaviour really looks like. And what I found really valuable was, just having that time in a safe space to talk through in detail about, the full range of, harassing behaviours from jokes and sexualised language. And I guess acknowledging that a lot of the workers that have really, sustained this fantastic industry for a long time, the world has changed for them and they actually deserve the opportunity to have the information laid out to them in a very clear way because, people can change. A lot of workers in the industry who've been around for a long time, men and women, their experience has been of brutalising behaviour and has just been accepted that we accept jokes and we accept some level of humiliation, and that's not acceptable anymore. But people do need clear information. And so I just want to make the case that, that was really valuable, seeing the lights come on for people about, actually, you can only invite someone on a date once. If they say no, that's it. You can't keep doing it. There's a reason that joke someone may feel humiliated, and it's not about your intention of being funny. But I do believe a lot of people can change, and they have changed on other issues. So in the same way, I think giving people sort of really practical skills to deal with behaviour as it comes up, but also to acknowledge that a lot of people raise their concerns about unfair process and that they would be targeted if they raised issues. So that's something for employers to consider. So just very briefly, the challenge for us is that expecting people to attend training in a sort of voluntary capacity on their own time limits who is going to attend. So that's an issue to resolve in terms of rolling it out more widely. And I just want to finish by saying that, the WA iron ore industry is less unionised than the coal industry, and there's sort of decades of history behind that. But we strongly believe that a union presence can provide a layer of worker protection and management accountability at the site level that is a line of defence against the kind of crisis of culture that we've seen in this industry. Within safety, there is acknowledgement that workers need a voice, and our safety system recognises that workers should have a voice, and certainly sort of the intention of our unions to continue giving that workers a voice on this issue. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie. Can you join me in giving a hand to all of our speakers? They did a phenomenal job. Not just sharing some really fabulous insights that I hope you'll use the morning tea break to continue to pepper them with questions around and seek more information on, but also it's very challenging to get up here and try and distill all of that work down into 5 minutes, and all of them pretty well hit the nail on the head. So that was a very good effort.